Hello and welcome to GlitchCube, we're a gaming podcast, and each week we take a deeper look into the art of video games. As always, I'm Christian.
I'm Chris.
And welcome back, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us once again as we dive further into the world of games. So this week we have some pretty big updates for you guys as far as some cool games that we've been playing through. I went down memory lane and picked out a game that I've been wanting to play through, and it's kind of harping on a lot of my rejuvenated fascinations with different IPs, right? Becoming obsessed again, so to speak. But we also have some new titles to talk about, some little updates and some other ones. But yeah, let's just dive right into this, man. So like, what's one or you have that update for us on one smaller one before the new one, right?
Yeah.
Well,
so I've been
smaller.
yeah, exactly. I've been kind of trying to jump around because I noticed that most of my time this week has gone to, two games I already talked about, right? Pacopia is still, there, but I'm still, so last episode I talked about Crimson Desert and how, the beginning it was cool, I could see what people were saying they didn't like about it. I think I was about 5 hours in at that point. Maybe a little bit less. And so I've been playing a lot more. And I've come around to it. I think there's definitely issues with it. And what a lot of people said about it, it's there, right? The possibly repetitive combat. Now, you can make that better with skills, and it makes it a little more interesting. So I checked that off my list. I think combat stuff is fine. Now, the other things people have problems with are the story. And I progressed the story. I'm about, I think I'm like 90% in the chapter 4.
And how many chapters does it have? Do you know?
That's a good question. I feel like I always see people talking about chapter 9. Let me see.
It's that big? Well, I mean, I can't be that surprised. Their last game was a big old MMO sandbox game. 9
12.
chapters. Okay.
And there's an epilogue. So
that's a long game.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you push through and just do the main story, like I got to chapter 4 kind of quick, but it's definitely a game that you can get distracted in. And, I see a lot of people say they spent like 60 hours just in the first area, which is believable. There's a lot to do. But
I remember seeing that with Baldur's Gate. You remember that? Or people are like 100 hours in Act 1. And you're like, dude, what?
Yeah. I'm like, how? Like, there's no way. I love to explore, but that's too much, dude. But, yeah, so I'm really liking this game a lot. It surprised me with kind of just what you can do in it. Like, there's a way you get a power where you power it up eventually, where it's almost like a rope, kind of. It's for grabbing things, right? You get this like power and you can pull things and stuff. But if you power it up, you can do it where, say, you launch it at a wall, kind of high up. You can jump and it slings you up, so you can climb faster,
like grappling hook or zipliney kind of thing.
Yes, it's like a grappling hook, and then you power that up again, and it almost becomes like Spider-Man, where you can swing around with it.
Oh, cool!
And there's a lot of stuff in this game that is cool, right? They give you cool powers, they give you a bunch of stuff, and it really does feel a lot like Breath of the Wild in the sense that you kind of can just do whatever you want. There's nothing really stopping you. Everything seems open for the most part, aside from the Sky Island stuff.
So I'm a little confused because I haven't looked too much into Crimson Desert. I've only watched like some gameplay trailers, some combat trailers, nothing too deep, right? Because I might pick it up and check it out. And I hate getting a bunch of spoilers for that kind of thing. But like now I gotta ask, like if you're getting like grappling hooks and what I've noticed from combat is like crazy fluid, all this stuff. This is a medieval setting, right? Like it,
It's
it feels
medieval, but
weird.
it has like, I don't know if steampunk is the right way because I equate a different aesthetic to that.
Mm-hmm.
It does have like robots in it
Oh,
in a
okay.
way that they don't really look human. Like they do have that steampunk kind of.
Is it like arcane machine kind of thing, or is it
Ooh, I would say maybe closer to that.
okay? So it's magic. It's not like tech.
Yes, it's
Okay.
magical kind of robots.
Okay. So it's like a magic tether
And
that you have, not like I'm Batman, right?
yeah,
Okay.
and like I think you see more of those later in the game. I've only come across one and it kicked my butt pretty good. And when I look online, everyone's like, yeah, this is like the second difficulty check you get early on. And I went there with like, upgraded equipment and everything. I'm like, I can handle this.
Mhm.
And I
And
think if I put my mind to it, I might have been able to do it. But this butthole is just capable of digging underground and hitting you constantly and then goes back underground. And it's like, there's not a whole lot of windows of opportunity to hit it.
so
So
it pulls
I
a
need
Diglett
to,
from Pokemon. So it just kind of like
yes.
bails and then comes up, hits you, bails again.
Yeah, and this thing hits hard too. And it's like, I need to go back there. What's interesting is you get that quest really early on. It's a side quest for a faction. So this game has the main quest, and then there's multiple factions. And this game has a weird thing where you can kind of like raise reputation with everybody,
Mhm.
even like random people in the street. If you press greet, like
Huh.
their reputation goes up by 5. But
Weird.
what I learned is like, certain merchants, right? Like in the first town, there's a blacksmith. And if you get his reputation or his friendship up to 100, he'll sell you like this contract that makes it easier to get materials for blacksmithing. So now I'm like,
Mm.
well, what do other people do when you raise it really high? So there's so many little systems like this where you're just like, well, what should I focus on? What's worth it? And doing these factions, it's interesting because at first you're kind of like House of Robert, House of this, like who are all these people?
Mhm.
And then as you're digging more into it, you're learning about these characters. And I like that each kind of city has like a contribution kind of system. So the first one, Hernand, the more quests you do for people, the more points you get, and then those points you can go and from their special shop buy like certain special armor. So like the armor of the city, kind of, right?
Okay.
And it's there's other stuff too you can buy with those points, but it's separate from the other merchants. So it kind of is enticing to do those. Also, bag space is weird in this. So some merchants sell like bag expansions.
Mhm.
Others, if you do their quest, it'll open up like 3 expansion spots. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, so every time you do a quest for someone, for the most part, you're going to get your inventory increased. And I have had it where my inventory does get full, but not too often. And the difficulty for the most part has been pretty easy. I never really had too much of a problem
Mhm.
until this boss was really difficult. And I think for me, what really clicked with this game, because in the beginning, yeah, I was kind of like, am I going to regret this purchase? Like, I was playing it, but it was kind of overwhelming at first because it's just so huge and there's so many things you can do. And the controls were kind of weird to me. But once I
Mhm.
spent this time into it and did more, I've really come to enjoy it. I wouldn't call this my game of the year or anything. Like I'm just having a fun time with it. Who knows? Maybe it'll change later on. But for right now, like this game is fun. it does feel a little bit like you combine The Witcher with Breath of the Wild and other stuff mixed in, because there's just so many systems in this, right? Like pretty early on, you get your camp that you are re-recruiting people from your old group there. And it's kind of like, you know, how I love town building and stuff.
I was going to say that's right up your alley.
This
it's a city
game,
builder. Yeah.
This game kind of has that, where when you recruit more people, they're able to, you know, fill it in, and the place slowly builds up over time. And I love that aspect, right? And then you can send your comrades out on missions, and sometimes it's for building something, and you actually see that building every time you walk by now. And it's just,
oh, that's cool.
It's small things like that where I'm like, this is awesome, dude. And there's little bits and pieces that I really, really do like. And I think like the background lore is interesting, right? A lot of it is kind of tucked away in books and notes and stuff like that, but I'm kind of enjoying the world. You know, like I said, with the chapter I'm in, I've explored a good chunk of the western region, like middle and southern part of it. I haven't really done a whole lot to the north of it, so I know there's like a whole chunk I haven't been to. But I've seen enough to say, like, I really like just riding around and exploring, and it kind of gives me that same feeling I had when I first played Skyrim, where, you know, the story in that, nothing to write home about either. So it was more about just seeing the world and traveling, and this game kind of does that too. And I'm excited to see where this game goes. I know I was thinking, oh, this is going to be a small update. I don't want to go too much on it because I want to save a lot of my bulk discussion once I finally finish it.
Right.
But as of right now, like you know, like everyone said, 10 hours in, you're going to like it. And they were kind of right. And it's not about the story. It's just by 10 hours, you probably have seen enough stuff to make the gameplay feel better. Well, and the clunkiness of those controls.
Yeah.
That too. You know, it's a lot of the loop with the quests are kind of the same, but it's those things you do between the quests that make it interesting. And I don't know, like one of the bigger bosses that you fight, or like in the story, like was a really interesting character, and the fight was really cool. And yeah, I don't know, like there's times where I start feeling like, okay, this is starting to kind of feel a little sluggish, and then they throw in something kick ass, and it just rejuvenates it and makes me want to see more. So I'm excited to spend a lot of time with it. You know, I think the next time I'll talk about will be when I beat it. So yeah,
we don't want to burn it out. We're gonna become like, a Crimson Desert show, and that's it.
Oh God, like it's. I look at like games coming out soon, and it's like one of the games I'm gonna talk about next just came out. But then, you know, I probably will check out that James Bond game that's coming out next month, and there's a couple indie games coming out that I do want to play. But other than that, like this year seems a little thin so far. So I think it's a year of catching up. I have a bunch of older stuff I need to play. And I just started our Game of the Month game, nice. So I'm excited to finally push through it because I'm digging it so far. It's kind of it's weirdly calm. I think just because the battle system just feels so like comforting and nostalgic. So
the story is like I really don't know what's going on still. I just know that I'm going through the same areas that happened in the movie. So I was like, oh, that's cool, you know, but like that's kind of like the whole game so far. It's just that you're revisiting places in the movie, which is kind of nice. And it's just kind of like a turn your brain off and just go thing. But the combat is fun. It gets really challenging too. Have you gotten the 4th character yet, or are you just still on 3?
I'm still at 3.
Okay.
I haven't had a whole lot of time just because Crimson Desert has kind of taken my time. But this week I'm gonna plow through it.
Nice. It does the hot swap thing that Final Fantasy X does, so you can swap out your characters mid combat, which is really, really cool. And there's a couple mechanics in there that I'll talk about it more at the end of the month. But like, there's a couple mechanics that they don't explain to you at all whenever you first encounter them. But just explore the battle menu a little bit better if you ever get surrounded, or if there are enemies that one of your characters can't hit for some reason. I would definitely recommend looking at some of the other options that might be in the attack menu that might not be worded as well as they should be. So just throwing that out there. It's going to save you a long headache of just staring at like, oh, this guy can't attack because the thing's too far away or whatever the hell, right? Like, it happens quite a few times now, unfortunately. I'm at a part where like it keeps coming up and we're like, all right, well, can't hit him because he's melee. Range guy can't hit him because he's going across the field. You know, like there's all kinds of weird positioning stuff that's coming up that they don't explain. So just as a heads up. But yeah. But regardless of that, that's definitely a game that we'll be talking about later on in a couple weeks when we do our little book club, game club of the month thing, recap of, and once again, that's Lord of the Rings, the Third Age, for people that have not heard us talk about that yet. Definitely check that one out. But right now, my gaming obsession, I actually played it completely through, right? So I was able to roll credits on it, which was great, was Star Wars Fallen Order. With
nice.
With Cal Kestis, and it's crazy. Like, this character was so cool, and he's only in the games. Like, he's not in anything else. No comics, no movies, no shows or anything like that. But he is intertwined with what is going on, right? Like, there is a connection there, which I think is great. But I feel like when this game first came out, I was at that like Star Wars, like, I'm over it kind of thing. Where he's like, there's other things that I can check out. I don't know if I want to play a Star Wars game. But, man, I missed out. This game is so much fun. Like, I can't believe I missed out on this one. Like, the combat was a lot more smooth, but challenging at times, right? Like, you actually you felt like you were really doing something in the combat at all times. Even, like, the little mobs, you can get overwhelmed if you're not paying attention, right? So, like, that was pretty cool to see that. I liked a lot of the upgrades, the fact that you can customize pretty much everything as far as aesthetics goes. As far as, like, BD1, the Mantis ship, Cal's cloaks, like his ponchos or his regular outfit, right? And the lightsaber. Like, customizing the lightsaber was so cool, and being able to, like, change the color and everything of your beam and all that. Like, I really enjoyed it a lot. It was one of those games that, like, it makes me want to go through and do like an 100%, like, get everything, because I just want to see all of it. There's still so many cosmetics that I don't have, but at the same time, obviously time, right, is a big deal there. But it's just cosmetics, right? It's not like it's going to change the gameplay at all, but it is really, really cool to see some of the stuff. And I like how it progressed, like, you were slowly regaining your attunement to the Force, getting your abilities throughout the whole thing. The story was actually really interesting, of trying to get the holocron, which has all the Force-sensitive kids' names on there, right? And all that good stuff. But, like, I like the lead up to the ending. And I think that, like, this game's been out long enough, right? Like, spoilers be damned, right? Like, if you haven't played it by now and you're a Star Wars fan, I think kind of missed out on that one. I don't know. But, like, the ending, or maybe I'll just say, like, the ending, the way it builds up to that final scene, I was not expecting that at all, and it was amazing. Like, it was very dramatic. Like, not just the buildup of the abilities throughout the entire game, right? Like, ending with the split saber and all that good stuff. Like, that was really cool. But just how they tied the whole stories together, and, like, I feel like what they did at the end was kind of like the final bow on top, that, like, yeah, this is the Star Wars universe, like, this is everything is connected, right? And it's just so good. I really, really enjoyed my time with it. Like, the movement, the traversal, the combat, it's just a lot of fun. And the story was very well written. The characters are really likable. I don't know. I can sing praises about this game on and on and on, but I just really enjoyed my time with it. And I definitely want to check out Survivors now, because, like, I need to see more of this. And I wish that there was more with Cal in it. Like they need to put him in a show or something, right? Like the whole
I
group
think
that
they
they
were
have is amazing.
working on doing that because I know the third game they're working on it, and I think like they were gonna do something with his character, like cinematically. I don't know if they're waiting for the game to come out or what, but Fallen Order is awesome. I waited to play it until it got really, really cheap because it tends to do that nowadays. And yeah, dude, that I'd always been kind of like not worried, but I was like, I don't know if I want to play this because it's gonna play kind of like a Souls game a little bit. And then you play it, and it's like this doesn't really feels like a Souls game. It's just the dodging, dodging and parrying, and like anyone will call that a Souls like. When I'm like, this doesn't really feel like that. No. So once you get the hang of it, it's a lot of fun. I really, really liked it a lot. And yeah, the ending, crazy, dude. Like, I'm glad people are, playing that game and, for the first time, because I felt like it got really big and then was kind of quieted off. But I think like that game has a lot of like awesome traits to it. And it's also a great length. And with Survivor is longer. I really liked Survivor. When I first finished it, I think I was a little like, I don't know if on the fence is the right word, but I was kind of like, okay, that was cool. And then as time went on, I was like, you know what? That game was actually like really enjoyable. Like I really ended up liking it. And I think you're going to like it too. I think that Survivor makes a lot of good quality of life adjustments to it. I think like the combat got greatly improved, and yeah, I don't know, I really like that game, and I'm excited for the third game, whenever that comes out. I feel like they've been really quiet about it, but I hope it comes out soon.
Yeah, that'd be nice, man. Yeah, I don't know. It for a while there, I was really burnt out on Jedi stuff, but I like this direction that they're kind of taking it, where it's like Jedi, but also a nice little hodgepodge mix of just random characters, all that good stuff, right? Like, it makes it more entertaining than instead of just being like a Jedi and his Padawan and that's it, right? Like, chosen one storyline.
Yeah, I think, when I think about like these games and Outlaws, I'm like, this is the cool Star Wars. I know Outlaws is a little different because it's not a Jedi, but I think it did a lot for me to really make me interested in the franchise again. And I don't know, like, I feel like recently with Star Wars games, they've just been top notch. So I'm hoping that maybe they take a look at that and are like, let's do more. I know there's that Starfighter movie coming out soon, and I'm sitting there thinking of that PlayStation 2 game with the same name. I'm like, that game wasn't bad. It was no Rogue Squadron, even though they were like in tandem, right? It came out like, I think a few months before the GameCube's, Rogue Leader or whatever. But it's a really beautiful game too back then. And I remember playing that game, and it made me really like more interested in episode 1. So I don't know, Star Wars games, all the ones I've played, I've really liked for the most part, the ones on the Super Nintendo. So
I mean, every time I pick up one, I end up really enjoying it. I don't know why I don't just like dive in. I don't think I've played a Star Wars game that I haven't liked yet. Like, they all are fun. Like, they have something. They might not be perfect games, but they have something enjoyable about them.
Yes.
Like, and you feel, it's one of those things that, like, anything in that world is immediately somewhat interesting, right? Like, you're immediately, like, you're like, okay, I'm here for this, right? It doesn't mean that it's a good game or anything like that, or a good show or whatever, but you can't help but watch or play or enjoy.
Exactly.
So no, I'm very excited to see where it goes. And actually, this game, because I've been wondering about this for a very long time. I know that, like, I don't remember seeing it ever like really heavily used, but at the end of Fallen Order, with the Seer, the woman that he's with, like, her busting out the beam and dual blade lightsaber combat, like where she actually had a gun, where she's just like shooting people and throwing around a double blade lightsaber. I'm like, why don't more Jedi do this? Like it was too perfect. I was like, I love seeing this so much.
Yeah.
It's always been a question of mine, is like, why isn't that used more? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, like they should just, the next Star Wars thing, they should just be crazy and kind of silly. Like, do the lightsaber boomerangs, do all that kind of stuff.
Well, apparently Acolyte, someone has, and it's canon, they have a lightsaber whip. Like in one of the new shows. I was like, man, that's weird. So, like, they're trying new things, and I guess it's canon that they have a whip. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I tried to watch Acolyte, and I was like, yes.
In the first episode, the colors threw me off. It felt really cheesy, right? Like, it doesn't feel, like, gritty enough, I think. It's too bright.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe it gets better? It's one of those. I don't know. But anyway, that's enough Star Wars talk for now, because there'll definitely be more, trust me. What else has caught your eye? What are you playing right now, man?
So I've been playing Pragmata.
Yes.
And I'm
the ultimate dad game.
Yes. I feel like I'm halfway through it. I'm about 4 hours into it. And I've been to a few different areas. For those that don't know, it's the one that everyone's been showing where it's like a little girl and dude in a big, like, kind of like mech astronaut outfit. I don't really know how you call it, but the setting is you're on this space station, right? Actually, it's all 3D printed. Basically, this game, everything in this world is kind of 3D printed. And that was like, kind of like the
what
story.
What if AI took over 3D printing and had a whole planet to do something with it? Right? Like that's...
Exactly. Yeah. And like they were able to make like these biomes, right? So there's like a forest biome, there's a biome that's based on a city, and there's more. Like I don't want to go too much into it because I don't want to. There's some things in this game that kind of surprised me with where it went. So, but yeah, everything, like the world is kind of printed in a lot of ways, and so you're stuck on the station with Diana, the girl, and when I first played this game and played the demo, and I weirdly liked the way the game plays, right? Like, so when you're fighting enemies, you can do the hacking mini game. And at first I thought, oh God, this is going to get overwhelming when I'm, getting ganked. But I never really felt that way once I actually got further in the game. I feel like for the most part, it's pretty fair. Mm-hmm. I never really run into instances where there's too many enemies. Like it's always kind of like, focus on this one. Okay, now you got two. Like focus on that. And
it seems like they slow down the enemies for that purpose.
Like they do.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels almost like a rhythm game because it's like, you're kind of like dodging. You got to line those things up. Mm-hmm. And it just feels good. I love Capcom's like kind of one-off games, especially their sci-fi stuff. I think back to like Lost Planet. I know you can call Dino Crisis like that too.
Oh my gosh, that was really good.
And I feel like this game kind of makes nods to their older sci-fi stuff, right? Like you can think about the GameCube game, the PN03 too, the dancing robot girl.
Oh yeah.
And, I feel like this game kind of has ideas from all of their older games like that, but it's just done in a really clean way. This game has such a unique feeling to it because it is so different, right? Like, I know I always like to say, like, man, these companies need to just do something experimental, go crazy, do something. And this game is kind of like that. Mm-hmm. And the story is interesting. It's nothing crazy, but the way it's told, the way the characters are, it makes it feel special. And, you're bringing up a dad game, and I feel like this game is very realistic, at least to me in a lot of ways. Like, so the main character, like, it's not her dad, right? Like, he found her, but
Mhm.
the way they interact feels like a father-daughter kind of relationship. And she's learning about the world as you're exploring. And it feels good to play a game where, the kid is excited and interested in learning about things or the world, and the dad figure is kind of accommodating, like not grumpy,
Yeah.
like they're patient, they're
Yeah,
they're
it's not
willing to
Kratos'
talk
dad.
to them.
He's-
Yeah, it's not Kratos, it's not Joel, it's not like Sony's sad dad games. Like, I've played them all,
Mhm.
so I'm not going to sit here and be like they're terrible, but they all have this thing in common where it's like, oh, dad's broken, and all he ever does is argue with his kid. They always get in the yelling matches, and
Mhm.
maybe by the end of the game they learn to grow together, but they're not really fixing their problems with each other, right? Yay, we
Mhm.
saved the world, but we're still like broken with each other.
Yeah, but we still
This
never hugged,
game,
right? Yeah.
exactly. And this game, it feels real. Like, it feels like, oh, maybe these people, whoever made this has kids. Like, they know the interactions, because while you're in these areas, you find these little, I think they're called REMs. And basically it's like little pieces of like what was on Earth. And basically you take these back to your shelter. So after you finish an area, you have this little hub that you go back to. You can do your upgrades, you can hang out with Diana. And when you find these little pieces in the world, it adds a little thing to this wall. And they're almost like themed walls, because if you get a certain amount of them, it kind of gives you like an image and other stuff.
Mhm.
And she interacts with it, right? Like, I think the one that is kind of everywhere on the internet that people have seen is the drawing.
Oh, yeah.
And, you'll find crayons. So now she'll make drawings, and it's just her wonder and amazement at such simple things just feels real. There was a moment she was like kind of standing and looking out into space, and she's just kind of talking to you, rambling, all this kind of stuff. And, he just stands there patiently listening. And I don't know, it just feels good
It's a
where it's
very
like
real moment. Yeah.
it's real, it feels good that they're not arguing, and the dynamic is just awesome. When I saw this game, I was a little worried, because it's always like, I don't know, are they going to be like fan servicey at all? But they're not.
Right.
I know this has been the controversial topic with this game recently online, but
Well, after like
you know,
the Twitch emotes that went out for it, right?
there's that. And there was
Yeah.
the subreddit like before launch that, they had to like shut down a bunch of stuff. Like, it's,
But I'm glad
yes,
seeing the game, it doesn't play into it, right? Like that's not
it
the
does
purpose of
not.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, I've really come to love this game a lot. Like, it's definitely one of my more favorite games that have come out this year. And I guess I was kind of surprised by it, because I liked the demo, but I didn't go into this game thinking it was going to be something I really loved.
Mhm.
And just the way the story is told, the way the characters are, I've really come to love this game. And I think like it's definitely worth playing. I think the price tag is a little it gets weird, right? Because you want to say like it's a little steep for a game that's like, you know, people log it like 9 hours, but I've seen the way it seems like you would probably get more like 14 hours out of it if you wanted to get everything, right? If you
Mhm.
just rushed it, I could see it being short. I don't know if there's anything after the game. I'm sure there is, because Capcom loves doing that.
It doesn't seem
But
like a hard one to 100% though. Like it
yeah,
seems
like I've
pretty
been
easy.
finding kind of everything that has been laid out, right? It's not
Mhm.
super hard to find stuff. But So it's kind of like, well, is this game worth the price? Blah, blah, blah. And then you start getting into all those problems people love to bring out about, hours per gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this game, because of one, how beautiful it is, two, the unique gameplay part of it, and three, the amazing dynamic between these characters, to me, yeah, I think it's worth it. Like, I think this game is just special and unique enough where I'm like, I'd rather pay this price than I'm trying to think of a game that just came out that's not Crimson Desert. That, is kind of not flawed, but, there's been games recently that have come out that are just kind of like, well, why would I want to spend, $80 and not really feel like I'm getting my money's worth? Whereas this,
well,
it's like
any new
it's such a
Pokemon
neat
game,
little package.
or look at Pokemon Red and Green coming out at that price. Why are you it's the same price basically, right? Like, a little cheaper for the Pokemon games, but like, you're playing a Pokemon game, spending that kind of money for that versus this, where like I played the demo too, and at first I was like, oh well, the combat seems interesting. Like, it felt fun and it felt interesting. The world definitely looks really, really cool, and you get a little bit of the dynamic between the characters, Diana and Hugh. But from what I've seen, because I've watched some gameplay footage of it, like, that didn't even scratch the surface. Like, the game goes so much further with this dynamic, and after hearing some of the little story beats of Hugh, like bringing up little bits and pieces about his life, and like, it goes pretty deep with with everything that is happening there, and the dialogue just feels very genuine when it comes to their discussions and stuff. And I don't know, there's just a lot of really fun things there. And I saw an amazing clip from the hub base where like you can give Diana a water gun, and she'll just like kind of walk around the little room, like going pew 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 pew, and tries to shoot at Hugh, and like he pretends, he's like, oh, you got me, and like falls to the ground kind of thing. But like, I love that they're doing that. Like you said, like, the sad dad routine just doesn't really work anymore. I mean, it does if given the right setting, but I feel like they could be really downer on themselves in this game, right? Like, his entire team dies, like, it's sucked off into space, and he still has a way to have fun in the situation. I think it is a little weird, yeah, but Capcom's weird, right? So they find the humor. It's a bright game, so why not have a little bit of bright cheeriness to it?
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't need doom and gloom for everything, but yeah. Well, I'm excited. I do want to check that game out, and like you said, that this year does feel a little lighter as far as like a bunch of games coming out, and it is nice being able to catch up on things. But I will say, like, the new games that have come out and we've got our hands on have been really, really well done. Right? Like,
yes.
Even like the weakest game is one of the strongest games from previous years past, right? Like, it's been a very strong year for gaming, and like some other titles that I haven't even got a chance to like check out yet, but like Mouse PI, right? Like, that looks amazing.
Oh yeah,
and it's so well done. The animation looks fantastic. It just looks really smooth. There's a lot of other titles out there that look great, and I think we're getting bombarded with some really amazing games. But it is nice to see studios like Capcom actually focusing on story and like the delivery and the dynamic between characters. Like, the combat and the gameplay is still very well done. I don't know. They did a really great job. Like, it felt like that could have been like an indie game, and I've been like, cool. I don't really expect AAA studios to do something weird like that nowadays. Unless it's like a Kojima game, I guess, right? Like, I could see Kojima making that game. So
I think some of these bigger companies, at least like Japanese studios, are realizing like people kind of want these like one-off games that are not part of the long series and shorter, right? Because I mean, think about it. Like, so many games nowadays we play are just like, here's number 8 in the franchise, or here's, oh, there's this, but you should play these 5 other games before to understand it. So you alienate a lot of people, and then it's just a lot of games nowadays are kind of just rinse and repeat, always the same kind of thing, especially with AAA. Or it's like there's some kind of weird mechanic to it that's just gonna like push a lot of people away.
Right.
And I mean, you could say about this game with the hacking, but it's done in such a way that it doesn't feel like it's in the way. And I think, like, to me, I hope Capcom keeps going this way, right? I know that Capcom for the past many couple years have been hitting it out of the park with a lot of their games, right? The Resident Evils are doing great. Monster Hunter seems like they're doing good. I don't really play them, so I don't know. But, and then they do stuff like this. They've been re-releasing all their, like, retro stuff, on GOG, right? Like Dino Crisis, Resident Evil. And Capcom has a huge library. And in my opinion, some of my favorite games are from Capcom, especially in that PlayStation 2 era. And like, I'm excited to see what they do next. And I love when they do original stuff. I think, they have some stinkers, right? Like Exoprimal, and there was a couple other stuff that they tried. But if they make more like this, I'm happy. Like, I'm excited to see the new Mega Man. And,
that looks really
what
cool.
else they have in store.
No, I love it when Capcom just experiments. So this is going to be good. Their future is fun. But anyway, that's going to do it for us this week. Hope you guys have enjoyed this little conversation here. And hopefully maybe you found a new game that you want to check out and play, right? Maybe you didn't play Fallen Order. Go play it now. Do it. It's really, really good. Or if you're into a bunch of dad jokes and want to see like a really good, heartwarming story while fighting crazy 3D printed alien AI things, check out Pragmata, man. It's actually really, really cool. It looks, if you watch videos of Pragmata, it looks more complicated than it feels to play. I will say that, right? Like, it looks like a lot, but once you start playing it, it's not that bad. But anyway, we'll talk to you guys next week with some more games and all that good stuff. But until then, bye for now.